I am super excited about today's video because we have our first Amaryllis in bloom. Now, she's actually been in bloom for quite some time. I just had not brought her out. And actually, some of the blooms are starting to go over at this point. But every year, it's a goal of mine to try to break my own record. Do you see her back there? Yes, she is in bloom, honey, and she is loving it. I think this may have been the fastest that I've actually put an amaryllis bulb into bloom. And I feel like every year I break my own record, or maybe I think I do. I don't know. If you all been following me for a long time, you know that blooming amaryllis bulbs is my jam. I totally love it. And I like to nerd out, if you will, to try to find ways to get amaryllis to bloom faster. So I'm going to share with you, or take you all behind the scenes with me and show you how I got this baby to bloom quick. And her blooms are actually starting to go over, but she's real pretty. This is a Minerva, and she has kind of like that dark color, but if you get up close, you really can see where it's like almost like a pearl like undertone to her. She's very, very pretty. But I've already had one bud that has already went over, and then another bud that went over right here. And so when I see that, I just go in and I like to clip off the spent blooms. I just clip the buds off. That way I keep sending energy back down into the bulb. If I'm going to get a second bloom out of this, then I'll be able to see it soon. But I definitely don't want the amaryllis bulb to start forming seed pods. With your amaryllis, you can actually let them go to seed, get the seed pod, open it up, but it's going to take you a long time to get that bloom, baby. It's quicker ways, but I go ahead and I like to keep them clipped down. Now, the second thing is when I know that I have a amaryllis bud or bloom that is going over, I like to go ahead and start looking at what is my next floral arrangement is going to be. And I really like the amaryllis because they're very easy to put together. They're very easy to just bright up a space. Like I just have this one single bulb, and I came in at the base of it here. I just stuck some moss in the bottom of it. And as you can see, the moss is actually different types of moss. Like, I just used exactly what I had on hand, and I kind of like that look because it gives you a variation and a depth of color. I know since I have her dressed in a terracotta pot, she's going to dry out a little bit quicker, so I make sure I keep her wet. So one rule of thumb to remember with your amaryllis bulbs is going to be that anytime you go in, you trim buds back, you cut the bloom stock back, you want to go ahead and you water it in. So we'll go ahead and put her back. So I just went ahead and I went with a matching container that kind of just picks up the ambiance of this room. It is more on the rustic side, but it totally fits in with the collection that I have going on here. Now we are going to plant up another amaryllis bulb arrangement, but don't worry, I'm going to give you my secret on how I get my amaryllis bulbs, or how I get my amaryllis bulbs to bloom quicker. And each year I go in and I tweak something, do a lot of experiments behind the scenes in order to make sure I can take it from bulb to bloom quicker. I'm gonna plant up this arrangement first and then we'll talk about it. Continue on with my gray theme. I have this beautiful aged container here. I absolutely love it. It's cast iron. It's deep on the inside of it. It has 2 drain holes, but over the years, I have packed and packed and packed this beautiful container just full to the brim with various plants that are in bloom. And we'll actually use a tray here, so that way we don't have to worry about cleaning up excessive dirt. Totally forgot my window screen. By us having these 2 small drain holes, it will be very easy for these to get clogged up. But if we go in and we use our window screen, which you can get very cheap, we can go ahead and save ourselves a headache, and we'll just take our soil and put it right on the inside of it. We'll go in just like that and we'll put our soil in. Let me get some gloves on here. And we'll pot up this arrangement because I'm super excited to take you all behind the scenes, because I don't know about you, honey. I don't know about you, but who wants to wait 6 to 8 weeks when you don't have to wait that long? I don't. Bloop, bloop. And there are no roots on this arrangement. But I do want my soil out of here. I went and I got my collection of moss, and I'm calling it a collection because now this moss right here, it's a Spanish type moss, because we're going to underdress our arrangement up here, and we have options. So whenever I'm doing an arrangement, versus me throwing my moss out, I pull that moss and I go ahead, I'll let it dry out. That way it's not harboring any type of fungus or anything like that. Once it dries out, then I'll go ahead and I'll put it into a Ziploc bags. And I am one to mix different types of moss if I don't have enough to finish my arrangement. So I think what we'll do, I'm thinking that this moss, because we are basically at the bottom, we have bulbs showing, and I'll get up and show you up close what it's looking like. But I'm thinking that we're going to go with this pool moss right here because it's going to give us a little bit of height. It's also going to give us a little bit of texture as well. And I think that'd be a good match. That is definitely screaming like it's ready to be utilized. See, it's green, but it's kind of fading. This is what the bottom looks like. And I also use the bottom too. When I don't have enough, I'll just kind of just lay it kind of like on its side. So we'll get this tucked in the container. So on the back side here, we have opportunities to go ahead and add just a little bit of moss. Just right here in this area, right here in the front. We want the bulb showing on the side here. So right here, we also want the bulb showing. After adding the moss, this is what we look like in the back, and here's the front. This is our arrangement. Now, when I deal with my poinsettias, and we got a little bit of, can stand a little bit of cleaning. Get you all a dry paintbrush, because when you are working with your different arrangements and you have to go in and you have to critique and you have to shift the plants around, sometimes you will get dirt that's on top of your plant. So versus going in and flicking it off, get you a small little paintbrush and you just utilize that one strictly for that. Now, when I am watering an arrangement like this, get you a pinpoint watering can. We've talked about this. You want to go in, you want to pinpoint water, because your poinsettias are not necessarily going to like to dry out. Your poinsettias are not going to want to be overly wet. Your poinsettias are not going to want to be in direct sunlight. You can keep them in a bright room. They'll do perfectly fine. They're not really fussy that way. They just don't like cold drafts of air. And you want to kind of keep the temperature similar to what we would like, if you will. And if you're purchasing your poinsettias, I actually like that a little bit more. Hold on. When you purchase your poinsettias and you're leaving from the nursery, the big box stores, a lot of times you'll see they keep them right at the front because they want everybody to know that they're here. Try to get your poinsettias on a day when it's above 50 degrees. If not, get you two paper bags and make a box. And that way they're not drafted, because they just don't like that. But I totally love this arrangement. Now we're going to rewind back. And I'm going to show you how I was able to take my Amaryllis buds from bulb to bloom. And not only that, we also put our Amaryllis into dormancy. So right now, the financial climate is not really where it needs to be. At least for me. Y'all know what we dealing with outside with that water main break. Need I remind you? So if you start to use Amaryllis bulbs, save them from year to year. Go ahead and carry them over, put them in the dormancy, give them the amount of dormancy period that they need. Pull them out and put them right on into bloom. I've showed you all that before. Google Garden Queen Amaryllis and it will show you how to put your Amaryllis bulbs into dormancy so you can use them for bloom. So each year you should be accumulating more and more and more Amaryllis bulbs. Now let me say this. If you're new to the game of Amaryllis, that's fine. I will also say that if you use your Amaryllis bulbs as an annual, that is also fine. Okay, I got a good girlfriend, baby. She will not save them. And when I tell them, like, bring them to me, she always says yes, but they never make it here. That's neither here nor there. Shady boots, okay? But What you want to do is you can keep your amaryllis bulbs from year to year. After they bloom, you cut the bloom stock off and you use them just like a houseplant. I'll be sure to show you all how I do with mine, and that way you can kind of decide if you are going to put them into bloom or let the bulb get bigger and reward you the next year or the next year. Just all depends on how many arrangements you're trying to do, okay? So I absolutely love this beautiful arrangement. The container by itself without any soil is heavy. Right now it's still draining out because I did go ahead and I used the majority of this container here to make sure my poinsettias had enough water. And when I go in and I water my poinsettias, they're going to be basically where I can feel that they need a little bit of water. And I am going to be doing pinpoint watering. And pro tip, you also can do your poinsettias as well as a houseplant. Now we'll look at how we got our amaryllis bulbs to go from bulb to bloom quicker. I'm giving you a step-by-step direction. And if you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe because we got a lot more coming. The holiday is just now starting and I'm trying to get all of my holiday arrangements just out, at least the ones for Thanksgiving for sure. They have got to be on point and in vogue, okay? I'm taking you all behind the scenes, but do not fret because one of the things that I will do, I will pot up amaryllis, paper whites, just all of my different bulbs, and I will have them lying in wait to be potted up for the next arrangement. And then once they come into bloom, then I'm able to pick them up, set them on whatever sideboard, let them grace the table, and it just works out. And that's how you consistently keep your various blooming house plants, if you will, or the plants that we use as house plants into bloom. So if you already have your amaryllis bulb planted up, go ahead, take it. You can totally, by all means, take it and set it off to the side underneath a grow light or in the brightest, sunniest place. Now, most often when I'm planting up a amaryllis bulb that is a mixed arrangement, I like to come in with my amaryllis bulbs already inside of a planter, and I'll go ahead and we'll work those together. We've done that before, but I'm going to take you a little bit behind the scenes and just show you a little bit of more of what I'm doing, because every year I research, every year I do experiments, and I look and I see, okay, how fast did I get to bloom this year? How fast did I get to bloom last year? And I look at my notes that I take because I keep a journal of everything that's going on as far as my arrangements, when I bring things in, when I bring things out. I compare my journal, my calendar, and see how we can elevate this to reach this spot of bloom. My goal is always before Thanksgiving, and every year I always break my own record. And I'm telling you, if you do not like amaryllis bulbs, you are absolutely sleeping. And you need to be woke up, because there are so many different arrangements that you can do. And I mean, the possibilities are absolutely 100% endless. The final thing I want to do for today is my amaryllis bulbs, get them set up for success. Now, when you're doing your amaryllis bulbs, there are a couple of ways that you can ensure that you're going to get blooms and blooms faster. One of the things that I like to do is I like to go in and pre-soak my bulbs. That way, by doing that, it opens up the bulb. It wakes the bulb up because you're hydrating the bulb. So therefore, the roots are going to grow stronger. It's going to be quicker in breaking dormancy and pushing through. Now, I have 2 white amaryllis bulbs right here. And they are of a pretty good size, but we can totally speed up this process a lot sooner and ensure that we'll have blooms quicker. Because one of the things that I love to do with my amaryllis bulbs is I totally love to keep some type of amaryllis consistently in bloom. And what I mean by that is I will go in with my amaryllis bulbs and I will do one arrangement, I'll change it out to another arrangement, But in order to make sure I have something consistently in bloom in my home, what I have to do is I have to constantly be putting amaryllis bulbs into succession. So when I plant them up, they're already ready to go. So I am going to use to hydrate these bulbs just some bulb vases. You can get these very inexpensive. What I like to do, a lot of times you have people who will get a amaryllis bulb as a gift. I tell my good girlfriends and my good guy friends, hey, if you don't want that vase, go ahead and I'll take it. And a lot of times they'll bring the vase to me. Or you can purchase these online, or you can use just a regular glass. So what we're going to do, I have one that's growing off the side, so I'll go ahead and I'll take that off. So what we're going to do, I will go ahead and I'll take this excess skin off. And you see how the bulb just kind of looks dried and dehydrated. And you can peel it all the way back, or you can wait till you get done soaking to do this method. Sometimes if I have areas that kind of look suspect, I'll go ahead and do it before, as I'm doing with this bulb right here. And I'll peel it, and I'll peel it down to where it looks like a completely new bulb. And at the basal plate here, which is the bottom of the bulb, this is where your roots are going to grow out at. Now these roots are unruly. They're sitting off to the side, so we'll set this over here. Same thing with this bulb here. And it does have a little bit of mold on the outside layer, so I'll go ahead and I'll peel past all of that. So now I peeled past all of the mold that was showing on the outside. And then for the mold that's right here, what we'll do is a slightly damp cloth. And what we'll do now is we'll take our water and I'm just using spring water. You can use whatever water you have on hand. You can use tap water. So you want to make it just so your bulb, the roots, come right up to the top of that. So we are going to fill this up, but you want to make sure it's not sitting in water. You just really want the roots in the water. So once I get to the top, I kind of pour it. I go a little bit slower. Nope, a little bit more. Okay. And see, these roots right here, they are not really long. Normally, I like to keep my roots a little bit longer when I put them in the dormancy, but I was rushing and teaching at the same time, so. All right, and so this is all we're going to do. This little daughter bulb, or the small little bulb, it doesn't have enough of a root system, so I'm not even going to worry with this. But that is a way that you can start to get more and more bulbs. Some varieties will give you more bulbs on the side than others. When you are soaking your bulbs, you want to soak your bulbs from 12 to 24 hours, because anything under that, 4 hours, 6 hours, you will see a bit of a difference in how they break dormancy. But that 24, sometimes I'll even let them go for 36, 48 hours. It just all kind of depends on which method I'm going to use in the back end, meaning that I've shared with you guys over the years so many different ways that I put Amaryllis, bring them out of dormancy to go ahead and get my blooms quicker, because my goal is always to have blooms by Thanksgiving. And this year, I know I'm going to have blooms before Thanksgiving. Super excited. I can't wait to show you what we're going to do with these Amaryllis bulbs. They are going to just be absolutely gorgeous. And I think that the process that I have now, I kind of have my Amaryllis bulbs from bulb to bloom in 15 to 20 days. Drop down in the comment box and let me know, are you doing anything with your Amaryllis bulbs? Do you have any Amaryllis bulbs into bloom this year? Are you new to Amaryllis bulbs? Are you going to be trying Amaryllis bulbs out? I would surely love to hear about it. So go ahead, click that subscription button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.